Hi there, it's Kyle from class, and today I'm going to give my quick math lesson. It's going to be over ratios, what those look like, how to write them, and just how to practice them. So I'll be going over that, but first I'm going to be showing you the math website I'm going to be using. Let me share my screen real quick. And basically, there's a few other people who are reviewing this website in the class, but I thought this was a really good website, mathplayground.com. Basically, it has just a ton of math games on it that allow you to practice your skills. Like you scroll down, you see there's lots of adding, subtracting games, lots of multiplication games. We click math games right here. You can see, we can scroll down and just see all of or a whole lot of the games that are provided. And you can see kind of down here, they've kind of broken up into some categories. You have it by grade, you have it by certain um, certain categories and certain lessons. Um, Interesting enough, there's actually some games that don't relate to math, but also just other subjects in school. So it's pretty nice that you can also use this website for a few other subjects such as spelling and geography and some other um, subjects there. So if we go ahead and check out some of the games real quick and how they work. Um, if we hit second grade here, we can go down and see there's some categories, there's some algebraic thinking games, there's some base 10 games, measurement games, just a whole lot for you to choose from, which is really cool, gives you lots of variety. Let's go ahead and go with this subtraction facts game. I tried this out earlier. And this is kind of like a little puzzle. It kind of gives you a fact right here, like this is 10 minus 6, and you want to drag this piece to whatever number or whatever the solution is. So we take this, we have to figure out what 10 minus 6 is. That would be 4, so we're going to place it right here. And then 10 minus 7, we'll figure out where that goes. It's going to be 3. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different categories here. Like if you click on 13, then the first number that's going to get subtracted from is 13, in fact. If we go to 16, it'll be 16. It goes over all of these categories here. So let's go ahead and do one real quick. We'll just do 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 14 minus 2 is 12. And your students will get the hang of this real quick. It's just kind of like a refresher. And then you'll see starts to make a picture. In this case, this game has a whole bunch of puppies, which is, I mean, I love puppies. Who doesn't love puppies? So I think this is, something that the kids are really going to enjoy. I mean, just look how cute that is. So there's that. That one's pretty casual. And then there's a few other games, like for example, one of them being this division game. And you'll see there are a few games here, such as this one, where it's kind of like a race. So if you hit play, you can't enter in your name. What's cool about these games is that you can either do this one by yourself, or you can kind of create like a private server for you and your friends. But if you want to just do like a normal game, you'll just hit play game now, and then all your opponents will just be computers. And you kind of change the color and all that. But if we start the game, then you can see we have to figure out these math facts real quick. And it's kind of like a time-based thing because you want to win the race. So if we figure out 4 divided by 1, that's going to be 4. We click that. 3 divided by 3, that's 1. You can also use your number keys. They're kind of numbered here in the top left corner if you're a fan of that, or you can just click them. I find clicking is just easier. And then obviously you want to try to win the race. And this really helps you get some of those basic math facts down. So it's pretty useful, not so much for like teaching a lesson, but really just refining your skills. So let's go ahead and go back to the main page. You'll notice a few games have like a little premium theme up at the top. You can sign up for a subscription to unlock certain games. They're not terribly expensive, but personally, I wouldn't pay for them. There are a lot of other games on here that are free. And some of these games, like you get more games. You get to you don't have to deal with ads. That's doesn't notice there's some ads around there, so you just want to make sure that your kids don't click on any of those and get distracted or taken somewhere you don't want them to go. There's just a whole bunch of perks, but you can certainly do a lot with the free version as well. So I think it's really cool. And it's going to be really helpful for just the lesson that we're about to get into. So we're going to talk about ratios now. If I can figure out how to start if I can figure out how to start. This is embarrassing. I feel like I knew how to do this before. Let's just do present. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So ratios. So first thing that we need to figure out when we're talking to the class is, what are ratios? I know we kind of discussed, more in-depth definition about what they really are, but when you're teaching elementary, you kind of want to use some simple terms and describe it in lots of different ways. So one of them being, these are numbers that show a relationship between each other, or that they're two numbers that we compare to each other. So my example here is that there are 10 students in the classroom, 6 of them are boys and 4 of them are girls. So therefore the ratio of boys to girls in the classroom would be 6-4, or written that way. And now there are lots of different ways to write out ratios. And you want your students to know this because a lot of the times they will be written out in different ways, and you want them to know that they're all going to be the same ratio. So we have like x to y, which is kind of like a word problem form. If you're solving word problems and you need to give your answer in words, and that's a good use for it. There's just a simple colon you can use there, like x to y, x colon y. That's just, if you like solving math facts real quick, you can use that. And then x over y as a fraction. Fractions are actually a form of ratios, and your students will probably know enough about fractions to kind of make that connection, and that might make it easier for them to really understand, what does that mean? What does that value look like? And so these are all saying the same thing, but just in different forms. And then another thing that I think you want students to know when we're going over ratios is that we want them to know that we can have the same value between two different ratios, even if the numbers are different. So, for example, if we have the ratio 2-3, move this real quick. If we have the ratio 2-3 and we multiply both values by 2, you can ask the class, what does the ratio become? And someone would answer 4-6. And then you could ask, is this the same or different from the original ratio, and why or why not? And depending on how they answer, you'd want to say yes or you're right, like they are the same or not, and you'd want to explain how just because the numbers are different. Like if we think of them as a fraction again, um, it's like multiplying both values by the same number, but they convert down to the same value. So 4/6 does equal 2/3. And you can use like a table to write out these um, multiples of ratios to show that they have the same value. And like, for example, this is kind of like a fraction here. So if you have the numerator is 2 and the denominator is 3, I kind of forgot to put this, but if you have like um, a little thing that says, times 2 to each number, you get 4/6. Um, and that would be the same still because you're multiplying. Like 2/2 is 1. And you want to explain that basically it's like multiplying it by 1, but um, just increasing both values, but they reduce to the same. They reduce back to 2/3. So then 2/3 times 3/3 would be 6/9. And then you could have them figure out, what comes next in the pattern. And then they'd be like 8/12. And then they'd kind of see how these all equal the same, how they all can be reduced back down to 2/3. So a good game to kind of reinforce this. There aren't a whole lot of ratio games on there as much as like addition, subtraction, multiplication, some of the more basic stuff. But I did find one. If we go under 5th grade, it's kind of like another competition one. If we go to, where was it exactly? Dirt bike proportions. We're going to start a game just by ourselves. And it's the same kind of format as the drag racing game. But yeah, we can see that, it's asking us to figure out what is equal to 2/4. So for example, 2/4 would be the same as 1/2 if you divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. If you take both, remember, this is still the same as like saying a ratio, so 2/4. So if you divide both numbers by 2, then you'd figure this out. So then it'd be 1/2. Same thing here. You divide both sides by 2, you get 1/3. And then this one, like for example, you multiply both numbers by 3. So then you get 3/6. 3/6 is equal to 1/2. And so forth. You just keep going, I guess. Multiplying by 3, divide by 3. And then, yeah, that's kind of like what it looks like at the end. You get your place. You see how long it takes. The more questions you answer right, the faster you go. It'll show like some missed questions too if you get one wrong. For example, let's try getting one wrong. We'll see what that looks like. So say we make the mistake and we do 2/2. We start to fall back a little bit. We get that one wrong and just move on to the next question. Same if we do another one there. But yeah, so again, this whole game is kind of like a good game to just check up on quick math facts and really just hammer this down in your mind. Since it's kind of fast paced, a lot of students won't want to start learning ratios and how they relate to fractions in this way, but this can be a very good tool for helping the students really reinforce those concepts that we went over. So let's go and finish the race here. We'll just finish out and see what happens. And there we go. We got a couple of problems running in, and then it'll show what the answer was. It'll say like your accuracy. For example, we got 81% of the questions right. Your rate was 9 questions per minute or so. And again, that took us just under a minute here. So yeah, so that is the lesson. I hope you guys were able to take a lot away from this. I hope that I don't want to get back, but I don't know how to do that honestly. Oh well. But that might be it. I don't know. Well, all right. Well, before I make a fool of myself even more, but yeah. So I hope this really helped you guys. Just going over the website and then just figuring out, what are some good ways to teach ratios to your future students. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys soon.